Welcome back, everyone, to the Bourbon Judge. Hope everyone's doing well today. For me personally, I'm doing great. It was 70 degrees. I live up here in the Northeast, more like the Mid-Atlantic area. Beautiful weather, great. Really enjoyed the weather, so good stuff. So wanted to kind of take some feedback from some of the viewers, kind of in a joking way, saying, "Hey, Bourbon Judge, do you only wear Under Armour?" The answer to that is no. I do have other clothing besides Under Armour. Hence the reason why I'm wearing Nike tonight. Kind of change up just a little bit. All right. All jokes aside, let's get back to bourbon rye. Let's talk a little bit about this lovely brown water. So today we're gonna go ahead and review. This is Knob Creek Twice Barreled Rye. So let's give some just good info about Knob Creek as a whole. So Knob Creek started back in the early 90s. The master distiller at the time, Booker Noe, everyone knows, Booker Noe and the Noe family, very much, that's one name when you think about bourbon, the Noe family, they really kind of come to mind, right? All right. So, but in the 90s, Jim Beam and the Noe family wanted to really create some sub-brands. So they created Knob Creek, Basil Hayden's, Booker's, of course, obviously Booker Noe. But for the one we're going to review today, this one's Knob Creek. So for Knob Creek itself, the name actually comes from, actually behind the house, the childhood house of Abraham Lincoln was a very small creek called Knob Creek. Woo, voila. Pretty cool little story, right? All right. But for this one itself, let's kind of just talk a little bit more about, the Knob Creek as a whole. So Knob Creek, they make a couple different versions. They make a smoked maple. They make a aged 9-year. They make a regular rye, regular full proof. This one, of course, is the Twice Barreled Rye. And you're probably wondering, well, Bourbon Judge, why did you choose this rye to review today? So I chose this rye because, I wanted to try to find or give you guys a review on a rye that you can easily find, right? It's pretty easy to find, it's, very, mass produced. You don't have to worry about the whole secondary market and everyone marking the bourbon, or in this case, the rye up for hundreds of dollars. This is easy to find, right? I bought this one myself for $25. It normally goes anywhere from 25 to 40, but again, I was able to buy this one on sale, so very happy at $25. Not bad, so it doesn't, kind of hurt the wallet too much. So let's kind of go ahead and pour this real quick. All right, let me just go ahead and pour this real quick. So Twice Barreled Rye. So one last thing I will say, there is no age statement on here. So if you look, there's no age statement. It doesn't say 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, nothing at all. But if I had to guess just kind of on the color, maybe 4 to 6 years, maybe a little bit more. All right. Ooh, that is tough to go in. All right. So color-wise, this is a beautiful brown. Very nice, deep brown. The whole twice barrel process definitely makes sense why this is so dark. So probably wondering, well, what is the whole twice barrel rye? What does that really mean, Bourbon Judge? So what that means is it goes through the normal traditional barreling process the first time, right? But then the second time, what Knob Creek does is they really char the you-know-what out of it. So they really char to, I think it's like a tier 4, which is kind of the max level from a char perspective for the most part. Some companies do a little bit more, but tier 4 from a charring standpoint is really burning the you-know-what out of the barrels. So they age this rye again for a second time in a second more heavily charred barrel. And the whole concept behind that is because Knob Creek really wanted to try to create all of their bourbon and ryes similar to Prohibition style, where traditionally, number one, the bourbon was, or the rye was foolproof. And then number two, the barrels were charred very heavy, if you will, and very heavy to kind of produce more of a sweeter bourbon, sweeter rye. So let's go ahead and get into this bad boy. Again, great color, very nice, dark brown. Let's get into the nose a little bit. I got a little spice, which makes sense as rye. But you know what? I'm also picking up some vanilla, some honey. No caramel, no butterscotch, none of that normal, traditional bourbon stuff. Definitely spicy on the spicy side because it's rye, right? Very earthy, which I like. That's not bad at all. And definitely some sweetness too. Ooh, a little bit of oak from that charring process. Definitely some oak. Oh, it smells good. It smells really good. All right, folks. Cheers. All right. Okay. So a couple things. Number one, This actually goes down very smooth. Being 100 proof, goes down very nice, very neat, very gentle. Definitely a little bit of spice, not too much, just enough to kind of remind you it is a rye. But I tell you, being that Twice Barreled Rye, this is something that, it kind of makes sense, right? It almost kind of resembles more of a traditional bourbon than it does a traditional rye, right? Because it's not super, super grainy and super, super dry. You get a little bit of that spice, but because it's twice barreled and they charge so heavily, it's actually very sweet off the nose and very sweet off of the palate when it goes down, right? You get that honey, a little bit of oak, a little bit of the vanilla, but it's very, very smooth. And I gotta get one last little sip. Okay. Wow. Okay. So, I'm always honest with you. You always say, Bourbon Judge, you're an honest judge. I'm an honest guy. Please give me an honest decision. I'm gonna do that. Here's the judgment. The judgment is in. This is a buy. So I'm gonna tell you a couple things. Number one, is it the best rye in the world? No, it's not. But is it a really good rye for someone who's trying to be a little bit more economical in terms of from a price standpoint, trying to not spend a ton of money on a rye? This again being anywhere from $25 to $40, I think is an excellent quality rye. Hence the reason why I've drank half the bottle over numerous sessions, let's just be clear. But it's honestly really good for being a $25 to $40 bottle of rye. And also for being mass produced, I think this is actually still really good quality. Something that, again, I've enjoyed this bottle. I definitely will probably pick up a second bottle as well as I get closer to finishing this, but something I highly recommend. It's very affordable as well. So, folks, thank you for watching today's video. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Next week, be on the lookout for a guest judge who's coming back. She's been there before. You'll see her next week. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Cheers.